What's up, gamers? Welcome back to another video. My name is Jovan and this is I Within the Game. And today I'm going to be sharing with you guys part 2 of my WWE 2K26 wish list. So without further ado, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Please follow me on all platforms at I Within the Game. There you can find all of my latest and my greatest content, on top of staying informed with new releases coming to the channel soon. With that being said, let's get into this wish list. Let's go. Okay, so starting off this wish list, we're going to be talking about one of our favorite but most controversial modes within the game, which is universe mode. Yeah, I know a lot of us got a lot of opinions and feelings and thoughts about universe mode, because while universe mode on one side is one of our favorite creations that the company has came up with, one of our favorite modes that there is to play and has a lot of potential, it's also a mode that we've come to kind of feel a little bit bitter and a little bit sour about, that it's kind of losing a little bit of its, potential, losing a little bit of what makes it, or what should make it, as great as it could be. So today I want to touch on some of the things that I feel should be added into WWE 2K26 with universe mode, and ways that I feel that it can improve. So with that being said, the first thing I want to touch on is #1 contenders matches. I think this is one of the more obvious ones that the community feels a little bit of frustration about, including myself. Not having #1 contender matches within the game mode automatically is kind of frustrating, because even though universe mode is something where typically you're kind of role-playing in your mind and you're creating the universe mode into something that you would love to see within WWE programming or wrestling in general, even though you're creating those storylines and role-playing in a way, you still want the game to support that role play just on a fundamental level, a foundational level, when it pertains to keeping up with the real life product. And what we see within the real life product is actual #1 contender matches and tournaments, right? And the fact that in such a sandbox mode like universe mode, we're not even able to have automatic #1 contender matches or automatic options for turning on a tournament that can go on throughout weeks at a time within the programming of your minor shows or your major shows, it's kind of disappointing, if I'm being honest with you, because there's a part of me that when I go into universe mode, I'm already feeling a little burnt out from how much work I'm having to put in as the one creating my universe mode. The workload is expected because you're putting superstars on the shows you want to put them on. You're customizing everything within this mode to your personal liking, so it should take some type of work and effort and time. However, I feel like one of the ways that you guys as the developers of this game can make things a little bit easier for us in this department is by automatically having it set up where if there's a vacant champion, there's automatically going to be a #1 contender match that pops up on your menu for you to do as a match within your show on Raw or NXT or SmackDown, something like that. Or even a major PLE, if that's what you want to do, just to add that customization in for people who want it to be on a major PLE show, But just having #1 contendership matches on there is literally something that is a quality of life update that can really make a difference within the overall feeling of wanting to play the universe mode. It makes matchmaking much easier, so there's no confusion about who's the #1 contender, or just having to put things together yourself if you're just playing the game and wanting the computer to be making matches for you, kind of similar to like rivalries and things of that combination, right? So if we already have automatic rivalries, we should have automatic #1 contender matches. It's simple as that. So the second thing I would love to see added into this mode of universe mode is new cutscenes, but also longer cutscenes. Now, this is a little bit different because I feel like they've added some new cutscenes, but The cutscenes that they've added lack a little bit of substance. Obviously, cutscenes are going to become a little repetitive over the course of time, and that's where I feel, just having patch updates and adding new cutscenes, throughout the year, and having people that work at 2K mocapping throughout the year and putting their mocap sessions into, the game and just doing little updates throughout the year. I think that would be dope. I think that would be something that helps keep the game fresh, because at the end of the day, you can't get wrestlers in to, necessarily perform these cutscenes or do all of this mocapping and stuff like that. But you do have people on payroll who have participated in mocapping and have the ability to mocap throughout the year and upload these little patches of cutscenes and stuff that could really work for the game, or even new moves as well. I think those things are just things that can really help improve the overall feel when you talk about universe mode being something where we're thinking about creating a TV show. We're thinking about creating something close to real life, but our own perspective, right? So if we can't have creative story elements, we do need more of those cutscenes. And like I said, that second caveat is making longer cutscenes. Why I feel there should be longer cutscenes is because we should be able to have longer cutscenes of like more meaningful rivalries and feuds with, participating superstars. Instead of just having somebody come in the ring and just beat somebody down, and just get it over with quick. They jump on top of them and they're just punching them and then they get separated. Instead of that, have it a little more dragged out where it like goes into the audience like real life and they're brawling a little bit. Then it goes backstage and maybe it pans into like a backstage fight, something like that. Like, I think ways like that can get creative within these cutscenes where it won't feel boring. It won't feel like it's the same thing over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? I think it will tie into, being able to have more depth within the game mode. So the longer cutscenes is definitely something that I would love to see personally within the game, and also new cutscenes. And please take into consideration people that already work for 2K doing mocap of their own and not depending on the WWE superstars or wrestlers and other promotions to do the work for you. It's really not that hard. I don't personally feel. I feel like we all watch wrestling enough. We know wrestling enough to know what fits and what doesn't, Moving on to the next point, I feel universe mode is in need of spontaneous cash-ins with the Money in the Bank briefcase. The Money in the Bank briefcase is something that's important for this mode enough where when you're setting up your universe mode, you got your major championship, you got your mid-card championships, and then you got your Money in the Bank briefcase. You can assign somebody the Money in the Bank briefcase, or you can wait until the Money in the Bank PLE to actually determine a winner for the Money in the Bank briefcase. This needs a shakeup as far as having spontaneous cash-ins that are not announced. I do not know why they're announced on like the match card. As far as like, I get being in total control of your universe mode and knowing what's going to happen within your universe mode. But I feel like this is the exception. This is the exception where it's like, yes, keep it to where we have the power to announce the cash in if we want. But also make it to where I feel like you can toggle this on or off, like spontaneous cash in on, spontaneous cash ins off. Like, and maybe it's there, maybe it's not. But what I'm saying is I don't personally see spontaneous cash ins happen without being announced. I don't see, someone holding the briefcase just come and interfere in a match that I wasn't even expecting them to come and they just cash in. I would love to see something like spontaneous cash-ins where even the briefcase can be cashed in on superstars on other brands. And especially when you talk about like, what if Seth Rollins got the briefcase on your universe mode and wrestling a match on NXT and Seth Rollins comes in and he just cashes in on Obafemi for the NXT championships and start a new rivalry there and basically saying like, hey, I'm going over to this brand, right? That could work. That can be something that's super dope. Now, I don't know how it will fully work. Obviously, it'll take time to put the details together of how that can work, right? Without making the person feel like insulted, like by, the players, or the superstars just having their own dilemmas outside of, your control and things like that. I get how that can be a clash or whatever, but I just feel like that's one of those things where if it was a little more spontaneous and not announced, that would be great, and it would really bring value to, having the money in the bank feature within the universe mode. If you're on universe mode, you'll also notice that universe mode also has a news section. So after you play a match, there's like news saying that this person defeated this person for the championship, or this person is in a rivalry with this person right now. Whatever it may be, this news section needs an update. And it needs an update that comes in the form of being similar to NBA 2K. NBA 2K, they got it down pat. They got it down pat when it pertains to their form of universe mode, which is My League. With the news section on there, it's like an intertwining of social media. So you got random AIs talking about the basketball games and stuff like that, and, sharing their thoughts as fans, talking about their team crushing the other team. You got big news reporters like Shams or whoever reporting about trades happening. You got rumor buzz. You got this, you got that. Like, that needs to come to WWE 2K Universe. That will make it feel much more alive from a viewer standpoint of like, you actually have an audience who's paying attention. Not just I'm paying attention. I'm just the only one in this universe mode. No, there's AI generated people who are in this universe with me, and they're like paying attention to my matches and hyping it up on social media. And, it makes me feel like, okay, they loving this. They eating this up. Let me go ahead and keep putting Seth Rollins against Brock Lesnar for another week. You know what I'm saying? Let me keep this rivalry alive. Like, this means a little bit more. I'm not saying it means so much, but it means a little bit more. You feel what I'm saying? So having, the news section, if it's going to be there, it needs an update as far as social media goes. And if I'm not wrong, because I don't play My Rise and stuff anymore. However, I do remember in My Rise there being something of the sort of social media involved, right? With the My Rise character. So all I'm saying is take whatever you might have done over in My Rise, just a little bit, but really take a look into how NBA 2K does their news section. I'm going to put it on here so you guys can see how NBA handles their like news information section with social media. I'm telling you, if you put this into WWE 2K, it will change things from a small scale, but a major scale as far as something that keeps people invested and feeling like they're not alone in their universe mode, because you already can't play universe mode online. So you're already feeling limited by that and, feeling like this is just not it. So my last point on universe mode is you need to combine universe mode with GM mode. Now, I don't know fully all the specs and how this is going to work, right? However, what I do know is, getting back to the example that I'm giving about NBA 2K, NBA 2K My League is pretty much GM mode and universe mode together. Think about it. You have the ability to control salary cap, trades, injuries, retirements, coaching staff, general manager stuff, budgeting, cutting players. You have the ability to control everything, but you also have the ability to not be in control as well. You have the ability to let the computer just build your rotations. You got the ability to simulate games. You got the ability to, let the computer run the system for you in a way, But you also have that ability to be very hands-on and have control over all of these aspects that make running a team or running a universe mode, a show, what it's supposed to be. So intertwining the financial part of things, of booking and stuff, into, the system of universe mode, but also intertwining contracts. Like you're under a contract to be on Raw, right? And your contract matters, or else you're going to sign over to another GM over on the other side. Like all the elements that are in my GM needs to be in universe mode. And you need to be able to toggle off whether you want those elements to be there or not. There's no need for two separate modes. I just feel like there needs to be one central mode doing all of these things, and you have the ability, just like 2K, to turn off trade logic if you don't want real life type of simulation for trades that make sense, like contracts that really make sense to be traded and swapped. If you don't want to go through all of that and you just want something that feels arcadey, sandboxy, then give us the feature to turn that off, right? And universe mode can be just like it is now. But give players also the option to have that universe mode where there's more customization, where it feels like a blend and a mixture between real life and arcade, not just full-fledged arcade, but it's still missing, real life feel. It's still missing elements like, rivalries making sense, or real life feel of, number one contender matches, and just certain things like that. Like if you're going to have this full sandbox mode where it's fully arcade, it needs substance. And I feel like it's missing substance because it's missing real life feel, like unpredictability, right? You need some unpredictability in there in order for things to really feel spiced up and to make sense. So those are my thoughts on universe mode. Without further ado, that has been my WWE 2K26 wish list part 2. I hope you guys really enjoyed the topics that were talked about in this video. And I would love for you guys to share your thoughts down below with me and let me know what you thought about this video, but also what do you want to see added into WWE 2K26? And share all of those thoughts down below with me and let me know and let the game developers know what those things are. So all of us together voicing our thoughts, our ideas, and coming together and using our skills and our talents to be able to make a better overall game for us as wrestling fans, because that's what really matters, is that the product that we love, the sport that we love, the industry that we love is growing and evolving just as well as everything else, if not better than everything else in this world. So with that being said, thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to follow, subscribe, and also like this video to show your support. Until next time, keep creating.